The iPhone 11 came out in 2019 and was the successor to the iPhone XR, bringing the same basic design, but changing up the colors and improving greatly on the camera. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're finally taking a look at the iPhone 11. Believe it or not, it's already over a year old, but is still being sold by Apple, and likely will be for at least another couple years. So today, let's answer the question, is it still worth buying? So as I often like to do, let's start this review with the answer up front. Yeah, the iPhone 11 is worth buying. In fact, I would say that this iPhone is the best value iPhone Apple sells right now. It starts at $600 US, but when you're getting it from a carrier, you might not be paying that, and either way, given your options around that price point, I think the iPhone 11 really stands out from the crowd. Some might debate me on that, and fair enough, but if you want an iPhone, I think this is the one for most people. It definitely has its flaws. The main one being the pretty mediocre display, but everything else you want from a phone is here. A nice design, great camera, great specs, great battery, you name it. If the iPhone 11 isn't for you, or you'd like to see different iPhones around, similar price ranges, I'll link my full iPhone buying guide in the description below, where we take a look at basically every iPhone. But for now, let's back up here and talk about the design of the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 is nearly identical to the iPhone XR, with the only real difference being the camera bump, as it's square and holds two lenses, which we'll get to. But otherwise, we have the same aluminum sides and glossy glass back that allows for wireless charging, and it comes in a wide variety of colors: green, yellow, purple, red, and if you're a boring person, there's always white and black as well. All these colors are really nice in my opinion, although there's no question that they're a much milder palette than the iPhone XR's options, which may or may not be to your taste. But there's enough variety that it's pretty tough to complain either way. I of course do have the purple model here, which I got because I thought it looked unique. This is a nice looking phone, even with the older curved edges going to the 6.1-inch display. And that display, well, I suppose we ought to talk about it. This is a Retina LCD display with a resolution of 828 by 1792, and if you didn't really follow what that means, then it'll be more than enough for you. But this display won't be as sharp as the iPhone 12 or the 12 Pro, and the blacks won't be as deep. So if you're wanting the best possible screen, I'd definitely recommend paying more money for a better iPhone. The 326 pixel per inch display here is the same number as on the 2010 iPhone 4. And while there have naturally been many improvements in other areas, it isn't the top of its class by any means. That being said, the vast majority of people won't even notice it being subpar, and honestly, I don't even remember that the screen is a pretty low resolution when I go to the 11 for my iPhone 12. Now, of course, if I think about it, yeah, I can tell it's not as crisp, but it's not something I really notice, and I could live with it. And I think most people in the market for a phone at this price range could live with it as well. But again, the iPhone 12 mini, the 12, the 12 Pro, and the 12 Pro Max all have significantly upgraded displays, and the discontinued iPhone 10, 10s, and 11 Pro are also improved, at least compared to the 11, so that's something to keep in mind if quality is important to you. Where this phone makes up for the mediocre display is the terrific camera. It's very good, and not much worse than the newest iPhones in all honesty. The iPhone 11 and 11 Pro were a pretty big jump over the iPhone XR and XS in camera quality, and as you can see from photos here, you'll be able to get some really nice shots. The main camera is 12 megapixels, and we also get another 12 megapixel lens that takes ultra wide photos, and you can see the difference here. The quality does drop a decent bit with that ultra wide lens, but it's nice to have, and you can get some really cool landscape photos with it, or really anything that could benefit from the wider field of view. We don't get a telephoto lens like the iPhone 11 Pro and 12 Pro has, which offers 2x zoom, but personally, and mind you, this is my own opinion, I'd rather have the ultra-wide option, as I think it's more useful for most situations. We also have night mode on this phone, which means you can get better photos in the dark than you could with previous iPhones. And of course, there's a video, which is best in class, as always when it comes to iPhones. Android's just, they're nowhere close to Apple in terms of video. We have 4K and up to 60 frames per second, what you're seeing here is 30, and it's terrific. The stabilization is so good, and everything is just really well taken, although it might look a little compressed for you thanks to YouTube and my video editor, but I can assure assure you the video that this iPhone can take is really, really good. And then there's the 12 megapixel selfie camera. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good selfie camera. I'm not much into taking selfies, as you can probably tell by my awkward face here, but yeah, it'll do the job for you. I wouldn't worry about it. All in all, there's no worries to be had when it comes to this phone's camera. It consistently takes great photos, and while it won't be quite as good as like the newest iPhones, it isn't far from it, and I think it'll do a tremendous job for many of its users. Speaking of tremendous, there's also the technical specifications. With the iPhone 11, we're getting the Apple A13 Bionic chipset and 4 gigabytes of RAM. This chip is still ridiculously fast, and you're just not going to get any slowdown, or at least very rarely. iOS 14 flies on this thing, and everything just works as it should. And this will continue to be the case for at least another few years, although I could honestly see another 5 years of iOS support. Fingers crossed, but right now it's still pretty top of the line, and can do anything you throw at it, from games to productivity to you name it. The iPhone 11 is fast, and I would expect it to stay that way for quite a bit longer. If you need a phone in the long term, as in you probably won't upgrade again for another few years, this could be it. And if you're like me, there's only one real thing you're too concerned about when it comes to having a phone for a long time, and that's the battery life. The battery is sized at 3,110 milliamp hours, and if you're an Android user, this might sound kind of small. But good news, iOS is very well optimized, and because of that, as well as the low-powered screen, the iPhone 11 has an extremely reliable battery. It'll get you through the day no problem with life to spare, and unless you're streaming Netflix or YouTube all day, you'll likely be very impressed with its performance. Definitely one of the best features of this phone in my opinion. Mind you, if you buy the iPhone 11 used, your performance may vary, and you know, within a few years, yeah, it might not be great anymore, but you could always get the battery replaced, and I'd say you should get at least 2 years, even with heavy use, of pretty decent battery life. And buying used is always an option if you want to save some cash, though right now prices don't seem to be great. On eBay.com, it looks like the iPhone 11 is sold for often around $500, which is only $100 less than buying it brand new, so I don't see the point. But if you can find a good deal, feel free to jump on it. This is a great phone. I did buy mine actually refurbished. I saved a couple $100 doing it, so it's always an option. But for most people who might be walking into their preferred carrier store or the Apple store and just need a good, reliable iPhone, honestly, the iPhone 11 is the one to buy. $600 US is just the perfect price for a phone that excels in every single department minus the display. And if you really need better screen quality, for only a bit more money, you can jump up to the iPhone 12 or the 12 mini. And of course, the iPhone XR, it's a good phone, and it is $100 less, but it's a big downgrade for the camera. And in my opinion, I think the iPhone 11 is just the perfect sweet spot in pricing. This might not be the best phone for someone you'd consider a tech enthusiast or someone who even just wants a really good display, but for the average consumer or average user, or anyone who just needs a phone that'll work for them, I fully and enthusiastically recommend the iPhone 11. I kind of feel like I'm doing some kind of political message. I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I endorse this phone. It's a terrific device, a tremendous device you could say, and yeah, it's great. You should buy it if you're thinking about it. But with that, I'm about done here. Not a lot to say. It's still a pretty new phone, so of course it's gonna hold up. And yeah, I think it's really that value that's a bit surprising. $600 for this phone is just, it's such a good price point. It really is. And for $50 more, you can also go up to the 128 gig option, considering this initially comes in at 64 gig for the cheap one. So that's pretty awesome too. Anyone out there have the iPhone 11? How do you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful or interesting, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you'd like to for some reason at 91_tech. And we also have a tech Discord you should come check out if you want to talk to some like-minded tech users. Got a great little community over there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.